Simple Car Guy here, and today I will show you how to fix a peeling steering wheel plastic trim and restore the cracking leather on my BMW 335 for under $20. I wasn't even gonna make a video about this, but then I realized that this is a very common problem on many BMWs of this age. And if you're looking for a cheap fix, this might be for you. Of course, this won't be as good as buying a new steering wheel or even the plastic trim, but this is much easier and cheaper. In fact, the peeling plastic problem was practically free to fix. I didn't want to get an aftermarket piece, but you can totally do that if you like. Either way, you will have to remove the trim from the wheel. There is a screw on each side at the top and one at the bottom. You will need a T20 Torx socket for this, and then the trim will pop out with a little bit of force. Be careful though, as the buttons are attached to the trim and you can rip the wires if you're not careful. A couple more screws remove the buttons as well. Then I used a heat gun and a plastic razor to remove the rest of the coating. It looks a little better, but definitely not how I wanted it to look, so I decided to use a little bit of plastic restorer to bring back the shine and buff out the micro scratches. You can see the difference right here. The bottom is done and the top isn't, and you can see how much difference there is between the two parts. After a few more minutes, the entire piece looked pretty good. I'm very happy with the result here, as it took less than 15 minutes and just a few drops of the product. Next, let's fix the ugly cracking leather on the steering wheel. So Garage Simple Car Guy from a few weeks ago, take the stage.
Alright, so today I'm trying to fix up the steering wheel. Obviously it doesn't look very good, the leather's all cracked, and I've used some leather conditioner to see if I can bring it back, and as you can see it hasn't really worked. So I'm gonna wipe it clean and then use this kit to see if it could make it look any better. Inside, all right, we got a little brush, a little spatula looking thing, and some cloth, and a little container. And we got two different tubes of repair compound. And here are all the steps listed in this little manual. So basically it tells you how to clean the surface with isopropyl alcohol. Then let it dry, and then you're going to use the mixing guide to prepare the desired color. I mean, I'm going for black. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be mixing, but it's just black. Maybe if you wanted like more gray, so you can add a little bit more white to the black to make it grayish, and that way it's gonna be not as dark. But for me, the darker the better here, so that's gonna work just fine. And then we're gonna apply the compound to the area. You can use the spatula that was included to make it a little bit easier if you need to brush on a lot of compound. And then it's gonna take 6 to 12 hours for it to actually dry, and then after you can add a second layer or a third layer if you need to. So first we need to clean this area with the isopropyl alcohol. I'm gonna trim these little pieces that are sticking out just so it's a flatter surface. It'll probably work better. And here's what it looks like after a little bit of prep. Looks more like Alcantara almost, but it's supposed to be more like that. So I doubt it's going to look like that again, but if I can make it look better, hey, it's going to be awesome. So let's see. I don't think I'm even going to mix in this little container. I'm just going to put a little bit here and then brush it on and see how it looks. Looks like we're going to need a lot more. Okay, so here's what it looks like after I applied one layer. I'm going to let it dry and adhere to the leather overnight. All right, so here's what it looks like the day after. Basically looks exactly the same, but now it's pretty hard to the touch. I may have put on a little bit too much, so what I'm going to do is sand it down just a little bit, clean it up, and then apply a new very thin layer so it kind of more looks like leather, and then leave it for another day. And here's what it looks like after sanding it with 400 and then 800 grit paper, sandpaper. So definitely much smoother. So we filled in a lot of those little holes and everything else that was in the leather. So now I'm just going to apply a very thin and kind of even layer to make it look all nice. I'm just basically building up a little bit of layers with some texture in it. the stuff dries pretty quick. Not that you can use it right away, but to where it's kind of its own layer and you can apply another layer. It only takes a couple minutes. Here's what it looks like after about a couple of days. So I've been driving with it and it feels pretty nice actually. It doesn't rub off on your hand, which is important. And yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's not perfect. I would definitely not say that this is perfect. There's still some imperfections. Maybe I could sand it with a smaller grit sandpaper and apply another smoother layer on top. But honestly, I like the slightly grippier feel on the hand, and I'm sure it's gonna kind of wear out slightly to where it feels more like the standard leather on the car. So pretty cool. I'm actually gonna attempt to do the same thing with the seat right here. So the seat's slightly worn out as well. I'm gonna see if that's gonna make any difference, and if it is, that'd be pretty nice. Yeah, it works much better if the leather is actually in good condition and all that's damaged is the coloring of the leather. Because look, this looks pretty much perfect. So I'm just gonna do a thin layer, wipe off any excess, and then just let it dry overnight. That looks much better.